Okay, guys, carrying on here in part three. Oh, let me grab my pen here. Now, I've added bar statistics here into the mix because while indeed it is a bar marker, it's its own separate category here. So I'm going to add that in here and let's review that right now as I get this off here, and let's drop this down. Okay, so bar statistics, again, it'll be in the drop-down menu, so right above bar marker. Now, we're giving you a lot of choices here as to what you can put on the candle, on the footprint candle, in addition to the bar markers. Now, again, as we were looking at previously, you could turn some on, some off, all on, all off, right? So it's entirely up to your preference. But bar statistics, same idea. Now, by default, we have ratio, the ratio on. I believe we have it above and below. So the ratio, this was a concept pioneered by Mike Valtos, who's a pretty prominent order flow educator. He's pretty prominent in the space. This is something that he designed here that it's an effort to try and identify either stopping volume or perhaps exhaustion, right? Something that you might find at a pivot. So it's dividing. So you're going to see it. It's on every candle here, but really the ones that you would want to pay attention to are where it's highlighted. You see it here, 53. When we get a bright green or a bright red, a bright green or a bright red above the bar, that ratio would perhaps draw your eye to some potential significance. So all you're doing is dividing the second slot by the first slot here. So 6 divided by 9 give you 0.67. Oh, if I come over here, you'd have 2 divided by 106, you'd get 53, 35, right? These are the ones that are potentially areas of exhaustion here. If it's above, it's potentially telling you this move is getting exhausted. We're coming down here. Once we start to push here, potential, this would be a suggestion that you'd have stopping volume, although you don't have a lot of volume here, but the ratio is there, right? So to suggest, okay, there's likely no more follow-through selling here. We're heading back the other direction. Oh, and that carries on. Here's another one where we'd get here. You're just dividing those last two numbers to get to 0.13. Potentially stopping volume, right? If this was going to roll over here, you might not see that. So that's a nuance. That'd be an advanced application, but there's no harm in putting it on there. Okay, are we stopping here? Are we going higher? Again, I would not try and read it on every single bar. Just those where it flashes into a brighter color might be something to draw your attention to. It's certainly it's not going to be effective on every candle. Okay, maybe it works here. Exhaustion. Okay, it's down here, right? Do we get any stopping volume? We got a little stopping volume here, maybe a little here. Right. So again, it's just one more little. Again, when the market is trading, right? You have so little time. We want these to be just a quick at a glance. Okay, I can see something here. So I've got bar markers here, and I've got a ratio of 0.13, suggesting possibly, right, that this is stopping volume here, that there's not enough volume here to suggest this is going to carry through. Possibly, right? It's not certainly no guarantees, but that might be something here. What you're trying to do is build a case here. Is this a pivot that I want to participate in? Well, I would look at that right there, riding the rail of the IB, and say, for me, definitely not. Right. I don't want to enter there. Oh, this maybe okay. Right here, are we going to have rotation again? There's a 65. Potentially, right? That's not enough volume here. We're going to start to ricochet back the other way. Right. So I probably more than I needed to on that. Let's go back to the bar statistics. I'm just emphasizing that because it's in the ratio. It wouldn't be because it's in the default that's more significant, more important than the others. It's just something that's it's a decent starting point. Okay, right. So that's an option to have that or leave it, right? So again, if you're working with the default, perhaps you just leave them where they are, or so you've got them above and below. But okay, I might perhaps, right? So this is something that's a common request. I might want the delta above and below, so that I don't have to go. Okay, where am I? Oh, I'm going to look down. I'm going to look up, right? So many people would prefer. A lot of people trade without the summary table. They just want it on the bar. Right, so I can get all of this, pretty much anything I can get down here, I can get in the bar stats. Maybe not everything, but pretty close to it. So if I went to the next one here, what else do I want here? Do I want delta standard deviation? Do I want min volume change? I won't go through all of them. Min max delta, right? Which you see I have down here, min max delta. So I can put them on the candle if I choose to. And the only reason you would do that is because you don't have to look down. and then look up, and then look down, and then look up. Right now you've got 60 seconds per candle here, so maybe that's not an issue. Maybe if you're working with, I don't know, a 12 range or a 15 range in the ES, or a 30 or a 40 range in the NQ, in the MNQ, you want something just at a glance that I can see it. I don't want to have to look down and tally where I am here. I can just see, right? So I've got the delta right here, so you can see it. So I've got the delta here, so 117 negative delta, 80, 80. 738. Well, what a jump here from 80 to 738 to 193. Oh wait, whoa! I thought we were gonna keep going. No, maybe not. Right. So just a false break that you see there. Recovers, right? Trying to ping of course, bears trying to bring it down inside the IB. Bulls trying to hold it out. Right. So this later in the day on Friday, we do finally get a push outside, and this is the kind of thing that you would see after an initial attempt. They hold, initial attempt. Now we start to sustain. Is it going to hold? Is it going to hold? Right. Okay. Big candle here. There was an effort here by sellers to head back down. Right. That's quickly absorbed and rejected. So within that candle, I can see a few things happening here. Again, note all of this selling is in the wick of the candle. Look where we close. Right. So I've got the delta up here. It's an up close with negative delta, because all of this delta down here, there was a big sell effort to push the market lower. We extended over. Does it even get tested? It doesn't, right? Until, I don't think it got tested at all until the close of the day. Again, delta and ratio, delta and ratio. Okay, so now I'm getting additional information here. So I've got ratio down here, I've got delta here, I've got ratio up here, but it's not particularly significant, but I've got a big negative delta. Then I've got some bar markers. I've got a thin print. I've got the above and below the POC. I've got... well, let's see what my triangle is. Again, right, it's where the POC is relative to the close of the candle. Right, so I've got two POC markers here, and then I've got a thin print in the middle of the candle, right? You can see them down here at the lows. I've got 0 prints, right? So perhaps, right, this is a little exhaustion. Now I've got, again, big negative delta pushing it down, but where do we go? 21 EMA, where we just hold and kind of bounce. Now we're getting into the end of the day here, and you're not going to want to be trading that time of day anyway. Okay, right? So just making the point that you've got lots of options here. That's what makes doing a video like this so challenging, because there's so much here to consider. What else might I want out there? You've got to make a decision there as to what you want to see. You can put everything that's below. You could remove the summary, put everything on the candles. Right? Some people prefer that. Trades, commitment to trader, delta ratio, volume per second. Pretty much anything you can have below, you can have on the candle. Kind of nice. Now, again, that's going to come from application and use case and working with it and studying and saying, okay, do I want this below or do I want this on the candle? Right? It's kind of nice that you have that choice, right? Some products like this won't give you that capability to put everything on the chart. Some people say, I don't want anything on the chart. I just all want it below. See that difference? Okay, all right. So there's. Oh, here, I'm 8 minutes in. Okay, let me keep going here. Now, we're not even getting into this yet, right? So these are all of the things that I could put in the bar stats here. This is another way to get to them, and to enable them, turn them on or turn them off within each candle. Again, you're seeing all of the depth here and all of the different ways that you can apply it to the chart, which I think is why so many requests for this type of video series here, because there's so much here and so many there's no one right way to set it up. Again, it's going to come from your experience with it, and then saying, it's kind of annoying that I have to look down every time. Well, let me at least get the delta up here. Well, okay, maybe I want some delta signals up here. Maybe, again, a lot of different ways to set this up. There is no right way to do it. It's just based on your preference and your experience with it. Okay, so as I continue down here, I'm going to save this section here for a later video. We're going to go into now I got to go back to my outline here. We're going to go back to the summary table and the delta signals. Now you'll note, of course, if I go back, hang on a second. One of the first places people often will turn to are the delta signals. That's natural, right? You're thinking, oh, that's something I should pay attention to. I've got a delta signal. Perhaps I want to enter the market. Maybe yes, maybe no, right? Again, that's the nuance of this. There's no right way to do it. Okay, well, let me just, as you've probably seen here, all of what they are and examples of them are all in these short little video clips that we did some time back here. So all of them, trap traders, exhaustion prints, volume seeker, all of these here are short, I think no more than 2-3 minute videos to give you examples of them. Right now, you probably saw that already on the website, but those are there just as an additional resource for you to kind of go, okay, well, again, what is a delta slingshot again? Oftentimes there are multiple bar patterns here, and they may or may not be triggers that you want to consider. Again, it's not they're delta events will let you decide whether or not you think that they are worthwhile. So how would you go about deciding, right? If we go here and we look at all of the different delta events, as we just looked at here on the website, you're going to see them underneath below. So I have them here. Again, we're in with the default setting. The delta signals are going to be down here, right? And it's usually just going to be a single letter. Okay, what do those mean? Okay, well, so again, this is right within our Discord. Let me bring this over here. So all of the abbreviations here are in this, and this is actually just a 2-page PDF where you can get all of the bar stats, all the markers here as to what they are. So you're going to remember, what was that square again? Oh yeah, volume sequencing. What was that snowflake? Oh yeah, fading momentum. So all of that stuff is here, as well as all of the delta signals. So what I did is I just took this and put it on the same page, so it's just a one-pager. But again, this is right within our Discord. You just request it. We'll shoot it over to you. It's also on the website. If you could just, as I showed you earlier, you could just pop that image up and then print it. Right? It's up to you. Right? Just some suggestions. So you're going to see down here, oh, I've got a T. Okay, that's a delta tail. Oh, I've got a P over here. Oh, that's trap traders. Oh, I got an I over here. Oh, that's delta slingshot. Right? You see, so again, it's going to take you a little time before you go, God, what was that T again? Oh yeah, it's a delta tail, and there's a certain amount of logic to it. You know, P for trap put, if you will, trapped traders. Right? There's a certain degree of logic to help you try and identify it. A delta slingshot, okay, maybe an I doesn't tell you slingshot, but we only get one letter, so there's a delta drop, a delta surge, another delta surge. These are just with a little bit of experience, you'll start to recognize what they are. It's not see a delta signal enter the market. Right, but let's be clear about that. It may be in conjunction with other analysis that you've done here. Again, support resistance levels, or again, however, maybe it's relation to the 21 EMA, or however you're making a decision that you're looking at an area to consider entering the market. If there were in addition to that, there was a delta event here, like a drop or a surge, right? Delta surge, pretty self-explanatory. But again, go to the little video so you can see a perfect example of it. The other way you can decide, and which I would encourage you to do for a number of reasons here, as you start to get into refining how you want to display the information, right? And it can be everything from as simple as maybe you don't use a dark background, maybe you use a white background. My partner, right, he uses a white background. So it's up to you, right? But of course, that's going to affect the color choices that you're going to make, right? Just a suggestion. Okay, so let's go to the drop down here. Now, the delta signals are available to you as in I'm getting into a whole nother section here. So we can take all of the delta signals that you see down here represented by a letter, and we can create stripes for them. So all of the delta signals are here in addition to a few more, as well as the opportunity to create some custom events, right? If you, again, for an advanced user. But so, for example, let's say I'm considering this, and how would you know? Well, how effective is a delta surge? Well, here, let's go back to my stripes here. Oh, let's see what I can do. Let's do a slingshot, right? That's a good one. So a delta slingshot. Okay, so I can put on here. Again, I'll let you go to the chart, go to the website here, and review what's there with what a delta slingshot is. It's a 3-bar pattern here. But so you might do that and then say, okay, well, I can just scrunch up the chart and say, okay, is that the kind of thing I want to pay attention to? So here are all the delta slingshots that happen on Friday. Are these happening at areas that might suggest that I want to pay attention when I see one of those? Maybe yes, maybe no. Right? Maybe this wasn't a day that was particularly good for them, but that's the event right there. Those are the delta surge events. Again, it's a 3-bar pattern. Maybe that's useful, maybe not, right? So that might be one that you're like, okay, if I see a delta surge, I don't know, I'm going to pay a lot of attention to it. Let's go to something else. Again, I would encourage you to do this with all of these. Let's do a delta drop, okay? Something I want to pay attention to. Maybe, right? I mean, here's an example where you can see just from the candle the big drop down here, and then yes, likely, right? You can anticipate if you were to dig into that footprint candle, you're going to see the delta dropping, but then it's absorbed. And note, what do? We go right back to the 21 EMA. Right? Just a suggestion, right? Very useful. Delta drop. Okay, do I want to pay attention? Well, that might scare me out of the trade if I'm there. Maybe here, but by itself, maybe not. In conjunction with something else, right? Maybe there's some divergence with a momentum indicator. You know, you've had a sweep of liquidity up here. Now you're anticipating the market moving down. The point is not that particular signal. The point is you going through here and saying, okay, let me go through these one at a time. How about continuous POC? Right? Is there anything here? Well, no, I didn't have a single one. Okay, so maybe that's not one I want to make a focal point. Maybe they're so rare that I will keep them highlighted here. So if I see one, that's going to be important to me. A couple that I think are quite important, right? So an inverse imbalance, right? So these are often what I'm looking for. I'm looking for something at a pivot, right? That will consistently show up at a pivot. That's how I would approach it, right? That is how I approach it. Okay, so I'm looking for things. All right, did I have a lot? Okay, well, I've got something here. I want to pay attention to these, right? So if I've got what that's implying is that I've got an imbalance at the low or the high of the bar. So if I've got that imbalance, which is suggesting to me I might have trap traders or traders on the wrong side of the market who are likely going to have to cover. Here's a pretty good example where you'd have, well, that would be a great example because you're going to have you can see the stacked imbalance there. So you've got sellers that have gone aggressively short here. And we have a delta event here suggesting that they're on the wrong side of the market. So if I go back to my vertical stripe where I have, let's see if I can open it up here if you're going to see it. And this is a good way to identify those that are going to be important to you. So that's not a bad one. So not a bad example here because it's not just a single event. So I can see here, well, one, I've got, well, we're getting into it's 3:30. There's still plenty of time. So I got a hard push, right? So this is an effort to drop the market back down. There's nothing on the ass side, right? It just goes so fast. And then look, but it recovers quickly. So we've got TP, it's a thin print, right? So we've got zeros here. We've got, where's the POC? It's above, it's in the wick, right? Where's the market close? Up here. This candle closes up here, and then POC hold. Drop, right? We're dropping back to the 21 EMA, and then we explode right from that. And look at the bottom here. We get imbalances within this candle here. Where's the POC? Up above, right? We're rising. We're here. You got to be careful candle to candle because you might be thinking, oh shit, all these people up here in the wick. Oh, we're going down. That's, again, careful of that because you can talk yourself in or out of a trade in every single candle. Careful, just a suggestion, right? Okay, so one candle, perhaps not enough to spook you out of the trade. Again, there's no one right way to read it. It's just up to the individual here. That would not necessarily be enough to spook me out of the trade here. But again, if this candle, if the POCs, and we're breaking the 21, and we're heading towards this, right? Those might be indications here that perhaps we're not going to hold here, but we hold the 21 EMA. Up we go, right back to the EMA, back to the EMA. Finally, we get a break here, and now here we've got same kind of thing. I have imbalances at the low. I've got it at the top, right? So if I go, I've got, let's turn that on, right? So I can turn it on that way as well. So I've got an inverse imbalance at the top, right? Meaning that the implication here is that there was a strong effort to buy up here, but the candle goes down. But again, we run into, looks like we're running into the stacked imbalance down here. We come right down towards it, right? But it's, these guys, if they stayed here, right, would have been desperate to get out at close to even, but it doesn't hold, right? So the idea here is that as this market is coming down, there's a big imbalance in the wick at the top of the candle. Well, the market comes right back to it, so a short-lived event, which is why one candle, one order flow event, likely not enough to enter the market. There has to be something more than just that, right? And I know hindsight, but again, you're at the end of the day, right? Probably not a time that you want to be trading. Probably better. Let's see if I can find something there. Hang on a second. If I can find something, there we go. Let's find something. We can look at that during the course of the day. Okay, same kind of event here. This is well, noon right now. Question mark is whether you even want to be trading right now. If you're looking right here and we're going sideways, right? Do we have any trend? Well, we can see the 21 EMA is sloping down, but this is just rotation, right? One last push down, right? You would have thought, oh, they're going for the IB low, but they don't. In fact, it stays green all day. They never tap it. This being an inverse imbalance, because look at the aggressive selling I have down here. So if I went back to, just for example, here, am I going on 20 minutes? If I go back to this, right? So I can see now, well, here's the aggressive sell down here at the low. Well, there I can assure you they're pushing to get the market down to the IB, right? It doesn't happen. It gets rejected back to the 21, rejected. So the way this is set, it's extending it until it's tested. So these shorts here, maybe they get a little relief here. There's another push, but they still can't get to the IB low. So that's just the point I'm making here, is that with that vertical stripe, it's a good way to come back here to start to refine what it is that you want to emphasize in terms of what you're going to show. Could be a stripe, could be down below, could be a delta signal, could be a bar marker. What are those significant order flow events that you see, you recognize at pivots, that you want to start focusing on? Because you don't want to focus on everything, right? You'll just be overwhelmed. It's just, again, paralysis of analysis. Maybe you like this preset here. Maybe you prefer the second one, which is just going to be the delta, right? You're going to see it. You can see all this aggression down here. That's a big push, right? And then I've got an inverse imbalance at the low of the candle in the last two bars. That's telling me, oh, they really went for it here. I can see all the negative delta here, the big push, right, from sellers. Whoa. By here, are they nervous? Definitely, right? It comes back here. Are they getting out here? Or are they adding? Well, you don't know, right? Even if they added, oh, they're going, oh, we're definitely going down. We're definitely going down. Oh, no, it doesn't happen. Oh, they're definitely happening here. Look, they're trying here. So this is an example of an unfinished auction, right? So you see 99.27 down here. This would be a dirty auction, or a dirty low, as is often called. Because we don't get a clean auction. A clean auction will have a 0 up at the top, right? We get a clean finished auction, right? It's finished. Here's a 0, 0, 0, 0. You want a finished auction. When we have numbers on both sides here, that's an unfinished auction. Now, the market's not obligated, but often it will come back to clean up that auction, right? Now, this end of the day, right? We get it's not the end of the day, but I don't think we come back and clean that up. You could extend that if you wanted to, right? If you had an unfinished business, if you had something marking there, that's an option you'd have. But what I'm trying to get you to here is take each one of these and say, okay, inverse imbalance, that's pretty good. Maybe I want if I went to stacked imbalances, remember you already have that. Let's go back to our bid ask, because that's just going to allow me to show more. Let's get a vertical stripe. I think I did that. Of a stacked imbalance. Okay, so let me scrunch this up so we can see it. Okay, right. These are fairly frequent, right? Particularly with a 1 minute candle like this. Okay, stacked imbalances, right? If I'm highlighting those, right, this is just another way to highlight it. Now, of course, maybe you don't want it on in the candle, but here's another way to look at it. Okay, is that helping me? I can see the stacked imbalance here, right? So I can see it right there. Do I need the stripe? Probably not. If I use a stripe, I only use one, something that's harder to see within the candle. Absorption, stopping volume, things that are a little trickier to see. Stopping volume is one that I will, if I'm going to have a stripe, I'll use that. It's a little harder to see. Stacked imbalance, right? Is that helping me here? Again, be careful of, stacked imbalance, I got to short it. Now, in this particular case, okay, decent trade, right? You've certainly got 2-to-1 risk reward there, assuming your stop's up here. It's a decent trade. I've got stacked imbalances here. Well, wait, shit, I missed that one. I guess I can add here. Can you? Careful, right? Remember, you're going to see something in every candle, right? There's order flow information that you can interpret as a tradable event in damn near every candle, right? So be careful. Look at all the ratios here, right? Lots of pardon me, that's delta. Look, forgot I put that on there. So you've got the delta on top. Where's the ratio? Ratio. Or do I have a meaningful ratio right here, right? Okay, 63. Is that stopping volume? Maybe. Here's 58, right? Is exhaustion? decent trade. Now here I've got an inverse imbalance at the low, which I've extended. Right, we looked at that previously. Now we start to rip. Right, here's where I think you can build a little more confidence here. Remember, 60 seconds a candle, so you've got plenty of time to look at this. So you can look at below. Okay, so a couple of things we want to look for. This is not a bad setup here. So I've got volume, right? So I want to pay attention to the volume. Is it increasing, right? So I can put the. So for example, if I wanted to put on the in the bar stats here, if I wanted come here, let's put volume percentage change, right? That's one that I will often use. Okay, so what is the increase in volume from candle to candle? Now I can put that down below as well, or I can put it on the candle. I can put it on the marker here. So I want to see that percentage increase. Okay, is it growing? Is it growing? I've got the delta, right? We can see, but let's use this candle here. So 259 is my delta. But then I've got the percentage increase in volume as well, and I've got the ratio, and then I've got bar markers. So we've got 1, 2, here's POC, here's the value area. I've got bar markers here, and I got a ratio here. I mean, that's a lot of information to digest at a glance in 60 seconds, right? Until you build some fluidity with this, so you recognize what you're seeing here. But again, it's kind of, I keep coming back to, you're not trying to look at each level. That's not what you're trying to do. You're interpreting based on things that are hard to miss. Okay, are the value areas climbing? Are the POCs climbing? Is the delta positive? Are these bar markers the kind of thing that would suggest? Now maybe you're looking at it going, oh shit, what is that again? What is that again? Okay, by the time you've remembered what that is, the next bar is already come and gone, right? So that's why it takes time. It's going to take screen time to get fluid with those. Do I have anything in the ratio here that might help me? Is the volume significantly? Well, it's 86% of the volume of the primer candle. The volume, the delta is still positive, Oh, I got a negative. I've got negative delta here, but I've got an up close candle. Where's the wick, right? Where's the value areas in the wick? So this was an effort to sell off, right? Absorbed. Right, comes right back. Same thing. Now we're back at the IB, right? Now we're right. This is noon hour, right? Which very, very common to see this happen after Europe's close, where we just ride the rail, ride the IB high or ride the IB low until we get to later in the day. Often when you see this, there'll be one drop down to clear out week longs that are trading middle of the day when they shouldn't be. So it's very, very common to see a sell off middle of the day, get all the late week longs cleared out, grab that liquidity, and then if there's going to be a ramp, we had that happen on Friday. If there's going to be a ramp, they're going to collect all that liquidity and then ramp it, and all those traders are going to go, I knew that thing was going higher. Right, it happens virtually every day. So that's a good way to go through these here. I know I'm going long here. That's a good way to go through these with these vertical stripes. I am not encouraging you have lots of stripes on. At maximum, my suggestion would be no more than one. Something that you pick out that you like, God, I don't want to miss that. And then it's a question of, okay, do I want the stripe, or do I want to put it on the bar, or do I want to put it below? Right? Maybe it's a delta signal. Okay, is that helping me there? Maybe. Again, one candle is not enough information, right? It's all got to be part of the context, a broader look at the market, because again, you're going to see something in every candle that might trigger a trade, or we go back to where I started. If you keep it to 3 or 5 trades a day, you're going to be very selective about when you enter the market. At least that would be the idea, right? Would be the hope, right? Certainly anyone first trading with this, oh my God, I think it would go without saying, you start with a sim account or a very low dollar prop account if that's your preference, until you get used to it, right? And it's going to take going back through the day and looking and okay, what happened up here, right? Is this in conjunction? If I'm looking at this in conjunction with my tick chart or my 1 minute or 5 minute or whatever it may be, or a range candle, whatever it is that you like to use as your base chart, as to when we're coming back here. So right here, this area here, if that's an area that I want to go to the footprint chart and say, okay, I got a fair value gap here, I've got a 50, we're bouncing on the IB as we start to launch here. Maybe that's something that I want to chase. Maybe it's something I want to, let me rephrase that. Maybe that's something where I want to get down into the footprint candle and look, see, okay, do I have an edge here that I can take advantage of? Okay, there's enough on that one. So let me pause here, and then we'll, I think I've got a little bit more. Okay, we'll see you on the next one.